I'm 79 years old now. At this age, mornings arrive quietly. No rush, no alarm clock, no long list of things waiting to be done. Just the slow sound of time moving forward, and sometimes the heavy feeling of looking back. Most people think regret comes from one terrible mistake, one moment where everything goes wrong. But that's not how life usually works. Regret often grows slowly, like rust on metal, forming quietly over many years until one day you realize it has covered everything. For most of my life, I believed I was doing the right things. I worked hard. I paid my bills. I provided for my family. From the outside, it probably looked like a respectable life, but the day I realized I had wasted my life didn't come during my youth, or even in middle age. It came on a quiet Tuesday afternoon, about 4 years ago. I remember the moment very clearly because nothing unusual had happened that day. My wife had passed away the year before. The house had become very quiet after that, too quiet sometimes. That afternoon, I decided to clean the attic. It was something my wife had been asking me to do for years. Of course, I always told her I was too busy. Funny thing about time, you always believe you'll have more of it later. The attic smelled like old wood and forgotten winters. Boxes stacked everywhere, things we hadn't touched in decades. I began opening the boxes one by one. Old photo albums, my children's school drawings, letters from people who were no longer alive. Each photograph showed moments I'd barely remembered living through. My daughter at 5 years old, holding a crayon drawing she made for Memi's son riding his bicycle for the first time, looking back at me with a proud smile. And then I noticed something strange about those pictures. In almost every photograph, I wasn't really there. Some times I was missing completely. Other times I was in the background, talking on the phone, or looking distracted. That's when something inside me started to feel uncomfortable. I suddenly understood something that had never crossed my mind before. I had spent my whole life working, believing I was doing it for my family, but while I was busy earning a living, my life was quietly happening somewhere else. Birthdays I barely remember attending, school events I promised to attend, but didn't have, quiet evenings when my wife just wanted me to sit beside her and talk. He always believed there would be time for those things later, but sitting in that dusty attic, holding photographs of a life I barely remembered, I finally saw the truth. I had not only worked hard, he had slowly traded the most important moments of my life for it. And the worst part was realizing something even more painful. Those moments would never come back. That afternoon, sitting alone in the attic, was the day I realized I had wasted my life. After sitting in that attic for a long time, I gathered the photographs back into the box, but I couldn't close. Something inside me felt unsettled, like a door had opened that I could no longer shut. For the first time in many years, I started wondering what my children remembered about their father. Memory is a strange thing. When you're living your life, you think you're building memories together, but sometimes you're the only one who believes that. That evening, I sat at the kitchen table and looked at the phone for a long time before dialing my daughter's number. My daughter, Emily, lives 3 states away now. She has her own family, her own life, just like I once did. When she answered the phone, she sounded surprised to hear from me. Talked politely for a few minutes about the weather, about her children, about ordinary things people say when they don't quite know what else to talk about. Then I asked her. Was a long silence on the other end of the line. I had never asked before. Emily, what do you remember about me when you were little? Not an uncomfortable silence, but the kind of silence that happens when someone is searching for a memory. Finally, she spoke. Well, I remember Mom doing most things. She helped us with homework, took us to school. She came to our plays and sports. Messi waited for her to say something about maybe nothing came. After a moment, she added softly, you worked a lot? That was the only memory she mentioned about me. Told her I was proud of her and that I loved her, and then we said goodbye. When the call ended, the house felt even quieter than before. I sat there for a long time thinking about one simple sentence. Asterisk, you worked a lot. That was the memory my daughter carried from her childhood, not the sacrifices. I thought I was making not the sacrifices. I thought I was making it the love I believed I was showing through responsibility. Just work. That night I realized something even more difficult than the truth I had discovered in the Attica. Life can be spent doing the right things and still miss the most important parts. He didn't waste my life by making one terrible decision. I didn't waste my life by making one terrible decision. He wasted it by believing there would always be more time. Asterisk, and the truth is, time doesn't wait for us to notice what matters.